continue this. We made some very nice strides with Kazu last time, and that was very nice to get to know him. We still haven't met this guy yet. We met him, but haven't really talked to him, don't know where he is. But more importantly, also it says that we learn to control our magic, so that's always good. Let's go ahead and kick this off and enjoy this. I'm super excited to see where the story is going to go. So let's see what happens. Chapter 6, First Steps. Okay, so I'm going to turn the music up just a little bit from my thing. And I finally learned how to edit to the separate audio tracks or something like that. So I don't never have to worry about the game being too loud or too soft or whatever. I can edit it and post. That works. Thank you. Oh, and someone told me that this guy is like a poet. Writes like haikus and stuff like that. So thank you for that. So I was always curious about these little sayings that they have in the beginning. So yeah. Anyway, just as I scoop it up, at once it rings through my teeth. Water from a spring. Alright, we saw that pulsing symbol in our hand. Yeah, that one. Okay. May. She looked at him. I forgot how good she looked. Oh my god. You didn't know? May shook her head. The mark on her palm disappeared and the pain went away. What was that? Takao looked lost in thought. A magical mark, a conduit. I don't understand. What does it mean? It's a symbol of belonging to something, a mark of someone's power over you, a secret phrase or key, or a protective spell that would show itself at a certain time. Or kind of like that one that was like around Naruto's belly. That kept the Nine-Tails Fox cage in there. Symbol of belonging to something. A mark of someone's power over you. Who did that? Like my mom? It could be anything. One thing is certain though. The mark itself is not dangerous to you. That much is clear. It was very painful. The mark is difficult to see. One might say that it's actively resisting being found. The path of passion. Words escaping her, May pulled away from him. She turned and sat on a nearby stone, brushing away the branch she used for practice as she did. Turning into a fox, using magic to smart. Who did this to me, and why? Both her heart and mind were racing. How will I get out of this? She swallowed nervously and looked around once again at her trembling hand. There was no trace of the mark. She wanted to scream, but remained silent. Have I had this mark since birth? Are there any other marks on me? This came from powerful sorcery, didn't it? Is there a way to get rid of it? Yes. It's very powerful, May. Have I had it since birth? No, at least not to my knowledge. It must have appeared during your early childhood, otherwise you'd have remembered. It's very painful after all. Do all Kitsune have something like this? That isn't it. She turned to face him once more, and he met her perplexed gaze. I think this is a good stopping point for today. We'll continue tomorrow. I'll accompany you back to the village. I can get back on my own. I don't wish to burden you and take up more of your time. He smiled, bowing briefly. It will be a pleasure to accompany such a charming lady. Whoa! Is he an ally? I don't know. I'm not opposed. He made an inviting gesture toward the path. May smiled in return, slightly flustered. After a while, Takao spoke. These mountains are believed to be cursed, and for good reason. Outsiders should avoid them. That's why the clan built a village here. Along the slopes and the forests and caves live many spirits and magical beings. You're a stranger to them. They don't know you yet, and so they might react poorly. However, that isn't the main reason I wanted to accompany you. May considered his words for a few moments before she said anything. Well, then what's the main reasons? Why don't the spirits bother the shinobi? Are all the spirits evil? Will I see them? I doubt they're all evil. I'm curious about this one. Maybe it's because we lurk in the shadows just like them. Long ago, the man who founded our clan befriended them. He could understand them. I would think that the spirits aren't the only reason these mountains have a reputation. Although it wasn't a question, the Jonin confirmed her suspicions. That's correct. For generations now, we continue to protect one another. Being neighbors is mutually beneficial to us. Since you're going to be staying here for a while, keep in mind, May. Even if you meet the most horrifying creature imaginable, don't pick a fight with it unless it's threatening your life. No hostility. Try not to be disgusted either. Some of the spirits are rather sensitive. Well then, have you ever encountered a yokai? I have. What about killing one of them? He raised his brow. Yes. What about Kitsune? No, May. I don't kill foxes at all. She bit her lower lip, forcing herself to stay quiet. Was that too forward of me? That music sounds like something's happening. When they reached the village, May heard sticks clacking. Are they training? A few steps further, past the house with an old plum tree nearby, she saw two men training. Armed with wooden bokken swords, they exchanged heavy blows. Circling around the yard, jumping and dodging, both of them managed to avoid upsetting the water-filled clay bowls that crowded the space. May watched their impeccable movements in amazement. Takao was continuing past them, however, the men lowered their weapons as soon as they noticed him. Oh, he has a busted lip. First shinobi. Jonin. Takao. Interesting. Okay, so is he like higher ranked, or like does he like know him more personally? I heard we have a guest. Bowing politely, a thought occurred to May. Takao is a complicated man. He seems friendly and courteous, but there was his discussion with Kazu, and now he seemed displeased that I'm meeting these other shinobi. Hello, I'm May. Why is he displeased? And what's the primary reason he wanted to walk me back? The shinobi seemed hesitant to introduce himself and his friend. I'm Hong, and this is Satoshi. Satoshi gave a slight nod. Good afternoon. They remained silent. Satoshi even turned away from her. Okay. May and Takao continued on, but from the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of Satoshi licking his finger and wiping some blood from Hong's lip. Oh, that's nice. Afterward, the clatter of sticks resumed. Do they live together? Is Kazu also training right now? I don't want to intrude on them. I'm curious about what Kazu is. Most likely not. He still needs to fully recover. Takao accompanied her to Chongun's house. Rest. I will come get you at dawn. The old man wasn't home, but May wasn't left alone for long. There was a faint knocking on the door. Yes? Kazu appeared on the doorstep. Yay. I'm sorry. I stopped by to ask how it went. I learned a great deal. It was incredibly exciting. I'm passion, right? I haven't completely wrapped my mind around it yet. First of all, I'm undeniably a fox, but that's not all. The Jonin discovered a mark on my palm that is only visible with the help of magic. It was painful, but beautiful. May shrugged. I was unaware of who I was because I was very little when I turned into a human. Oh yes. She lowered her gaze. I transform when I get too worried or frightened. It was embarrassing to admit, but May thought it best to warn him. Laughter danced in his eyes as he barely contained his amusement. Takao agreed to help? Yes, he promised to teach me how to control magic. He will continue tomorrow at dawn. Kazu remained on the doorstep, hesitant to enter. I brought you a gift, not a witch. As thanks for helping me. Kazu was more attentive due to earlier choices. Yay! From within his sleeve, he took out a fan. Oh, so cute! It does not have a little fox on it. Oh, it's a dark fox. Ooh, which one do we take? Oh, it's my fox. They're all so cute. I like this one. Let's take that one. That's so nice. May unfolded the fan, admiring its elegance, then threw it up in the air and deftly caught it. That's right. This choice will affect the story in the future. How? Oh no, should I have bought this expensive one? I've never received a gift from a man before. How should I thank him? This is one of the finest fans I've ever held. Thank you, Kazu. Would you like some tea? Although I don't know where the cups are around here. He pondered for a few moments before shaking his head. I need to go. You should rest. Oh, no, yeah. May didn't want him to leave. She took a step forward, feeling as though she was crossing an invisible threshold, and called out to him. Kazu? He had already turned, but looked back at the sound of her voice. Stay. His coarse voice changed imperceptibly. Why? How do I say because I've grown comfortable around you? Because I don't want to be alone after everything I've learned? Or because your presence calms me? I don't know, but I wish so. But those were not the words she spoke aloud. Don't ask, just try to understand. His tenacious eyes caught hers, and his jaw twitched. I'll bring tea. Some of Chunggon's herbs, well, we'd never recover if we mistook them for tea. Dusk fell, and the shadows grew deeper in the room. When Kazu returned, May was sitting by the fireplace. He stirred the wood in the hearth, then opened a nearby chest and took out cups along with a tray. May broke the silence. This is also strange. What is? I was usually the one serving and entertaining at the table. This is the first time a man has made tea for me. Kazu grinned. He remains calm even though he's pouring the tea completely wrong. I'm the one who worries. Here you go. May took the cup from him and for a brief moment their fingers touched. An unusual taste. Are these local herbs? Kazu, who was watching her movements, nodded. Everything seems so surreal. I feel as though I'm about to wake up back at the Okia, and none of this will have happened. None of it? He took a sip. May found herself watching his lips where they touched the edge of the cup. She caught a slight glint in his eyes. I can turn into a fox. Kazu gracefully moved closer. He hesitated for a moment, looking at her, considering something. I'm only going to do what you want. Close your eyes. She touched his shoulder so close that Kazu could feel her breath on his face. He caught her lips with his own. He gently caressed her face, leading her skillfully and calmly, teaching her to kiss, gradually making it bolder, deeper. Forgetting to breathe, May gave in. Look at her face. Eventually, he carefully drew back. He murmured something so softly that May couldn't make out his words. If you want, I'll never bring this up again, and it will all remain a surreal dream. May tried to calm the emotions stirring inside her. She felt as though every part of her that he had caressed was aflame. Your tea's cold. Oh, well. Kazu pulled himself to his feet. Chunggon will be back soon. He's both curious and smart, an uncomfortable combination for you. You should rest. He left without looking back, without touching her one last time. Yay! Maybe that was the right decision or not. Definitely the right decision. He's freaking awesome. Yay! We got some time alone with Kazu. A while later, Chunggon returned home. How are you feeling? Better, I hope. I'm fine, thank you. He quickly ground some dried roots and brewed them into a tea. Here. The drink was no less disgusting than the one she drank when she first woke up. The old man closely watched her drink the brew to the last drop. Good. Now you can rest assured the sickness won't come back. Thank you, Mr. Chang'an. Call me Grandpa Chang'an, or simply Chang'an. We don't call each other Mr. around here. Don't be shy. Feel right at home. If you get bored, you can go for a walk in the garden. Just don't wander off too far. I know. Takao warned me. May I ask you something? Sure. Is Azumi close with Kazu? How do you feel about Kitsune? Does Takao have a wife? Do you have any relatives? I never know the right questions to ask here. I don't care if Azumi is close with Kazu. I don't think so, at least not the way that she wants to be. I'm pretty certain about that. Does Takao have a wife? That will be interesting. I'm kind of curious. Also curious about him too. My blood? No, May. The clan is my family. He was silent for a few moments before he spoke again. I did have a son. With an encouraging wink, he walked into another room. So you never know how many questions you get. Living in the Ukiya, May had grown used to always having something to do. This was obviously neither the time nor the place to practice singing or intricate dances. As she pondered what to do, she made the already perfect bed for the 100th time and whatever things Azumi had brought her. I shouldn't have used her good faith. Tomorrow I'll offer to do the cleaning for Chang'an, otherwise I feel like I'm useless. I should figure out where I can wash up. May nodded to herself. Her surprise that there was a barrel, some firewood, and water prepared for her. After bathing, May carefully combed her hair and looked at herself in the mirror. She applied her makeup. Okay. Got makeup with eyeliner, evening makeup, or light makeup. I don't know. Which one should we go for? Do we go for something like light and airy, or do we go for something a little more mature? I don't know. I don't like this one for sure. I don't know which one to go for here. Let's go with this one though. Yeah. She lowered her lashes, then feigned surprise. Happiness. And sighed. Everything's the same. I may be a kitsune, but right now I look human. She recalled Kazu's lips in the kiss. After sitting there for a short while, she went outside. Wow. Lanterns floating in midair immediately caught her eye. Magic is so beautiful. Someone called out to her. Good evening. She was standing next to a nearby house. And to you? I have a favor to ask. Don't shave my head or make me eat any strange things. What? What? May stared at her in confusion. What do you mean? In about half the stories, kitsune bewitch people and either shave them bald or, under the guise of something tasty, make people eat something nasty, basically. They do it for their amusement, right? Still very odd. Do you find human jokes funny? May calmly answered. Of course, but only the good ones, unlike yours. Azumi undoubtedly wanted to keep the conversation going and completely ruin May's mood. Deciding that it would be unwise to argue further with the ninja. We were arguing? I thought they were joking around. Okay. May forced herself to keep a cool head and go to bed instead. Okay, maybe she was like teasing me or something. Just you wait until I learn to use magic. Then we'll see who ends up bald and eating something nasty. What's the old saying? There's a grain of truth in fairy tales. Okay, she was being mean. I thought it was a joke. Takao, as promised, stopped by at dawn. The two of them walked along the slope of the mountains. Did you sleep well? Yes. He nodded approvingly. That's good. Yesterday, you used magic to try and change the world around you. May made a skeptical observation. It doesn't seem like much has changed. The man who moved a mountain started by moving individual pebbles. Before learning how to dance, one must learn how to crawl and then how to walk. So that means I'm going to learn to crawl right now? I'm teaching you how to walk. But not to dance. That must be too difficult. I saw lanterns yesterday evening. Did you make them? Yes. They were amazing, so pretty and completely wonderful. She paused, searching for the right word. Magical. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Will I learn to make them? Make them glow constantly, yes, but making them float? No. Although, that's only if you dedicate yourself to improving in the art of magic. She recalled the comparison he had made. Learning to dance? He laughed. Yes, but extremely well. Kind of seems like he's warming up a bit. That's nice. The two of them kept walking away from the village. May became aware of just how strange their surroundings were. What is that? How strange their surroundings were. It's coming back. The trees around them seemed to have unnatural curves. The fog was also strangely thick and unevenly scattered around the forest. Apart from that, she could feel someone watching them. Yeah, I saw eyes in the tree earlier. They might pop back up. May found... Oh, they're glowing up again. You can try to see them coming in. It's little eyes there. May found herself lowering her voice to a whisper as she asked Takao a question. Are we being watched? Yes, the locals are curious about you. Yeah, specifically how I'll taste. Don't worry. As long as you're with me, they won't touch you. He led her along a path visible only to him. As they passed through another patch of fog, they arrived at a clearing. The silver thread of a stream divided into almost equal parts. Takao stopped next to it. To control magic is not enough to simply learn how to unleash it. You need to figure out how it works as well as how much of its power you can use. Today, you will do just that right here. And remember, earth magic is constant. It is akin to the ground. You may carry it from place to place and even toss it to the bottom of the ocean, but it still won't reduce how much of there is in the world. It will simply be a new place. The amount of magic in the world does not change. Fire magic is dangerous. A flame can warm you up, cook up your food. But if you leave it unsupervised, it will burn down either your home or the entire forest. Magic can kill. The streams of water magic permeate the entire world. At times it's very easy to tap into, and at others it's nearly impossible. This does not change anything. Rain falls on a dead stone, and there may be water hidden deep underground. Magic is everywhere. Air's magic is free. You cannot inhale and never exhale, just as you cannot breathe in more than your chest can hold. Arduous training might help, but it won't change the essence of it. And finally, magic is foreign to people. Every living being must pay for using it, although creatures born from it, namely you, don't have to worry about that. This difference draws envy from the some and fear from the rest, often resulting in the aggression you may encounter. Magic isn't for everyone. How do you pay? Voluntarily or otherwise. As they use magic, sorcerers gradually lose their senses one by one. At first they might lose their sense of smell, then taste, then hearing, and so on. It's gradual but merciless and irreversible. Thus many sorcerers lose their minds and will to live. But it's possible to avoid such a fate by willingly making a sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Universal sacrifice. Blood. May looked at the bandages covering his arms, feeling a mixture of horror and compassion. That's right. I always have a fresh cut on my arm that can easily turn into a bleeding wound. That way I'll always have magic at my disposal. Okay. Oh, Lord. This just turned into like Attack on Titan. Oh boy. We'll manage without a demonstration, seeing as it's not the most pleasant sight in the world. I give it in exchange for what I take. That's crazy. Yeah, why would only power over fire an illusion? The choice influenced May's relationship with Takao. I wonder how. It's the nature of magical creatures. Generally, you possess exceptionally powerful magical abilities, but they're tied to something specific. Suppose it's water. Someone might be able to change the flow of a river or cause a blizzard, but they won't be able to light a candle. Humans can learn a wider variety of magic, but it's more difficult for us in turn. For instance, just like you, I'm able to make it seem like my face is covered in dust and dirt to fool a guard. He clenched one of his hands into a fist before waving his fingers as he spoke. Or create real snow. Impossible for a kitsune. Oh, it is snowing. May caught the snowflake and immediately turned into a drop of water. Wow. The gentleman appreciated May's interest and understanding. Oh, okay, that's why. So then, tell me what you've learned. Magic is all around us, but it's not always going to be available to use. Like water deep inside the earth, it's too far away. Then need to be careful with it. No matter how much magic is used, it doesn't change the amount in the world. That it's like air. It can be taken in to perform magic, but it cannot be held in for too long. And that I don't need to sacrifice anything when using it. Correct. Oh, okay, I don't need to because I'm a kitsune. Don't forget that using magic will physically tire you out. You might even exhaust yourself to the point of losing consciousness. I think that has happened before. Depending on how complex the magic is or how often you use it, you'll need more time to recover. Now, reach your hand into the stream. May crouched and felt the icy mountain water. It's cold. Relax and imagine that you're holding a jug. You don't have to do anything special. The water just flows into it on its own. Similarly to that, you are a jug for magic. Let it flow into you. It's a simple analogy to help you understand, to feel. Now close your eyes, keep your breathing steady. In this place, it's very easy to regain strength, to let the magic in. You just have to not fight it. Suddenly, a strange sensation overtook May. She felt anxious, but at the same time, it was a pleasant sensation. Sort of anticipation one felt before a long-awaited meeting. She tilted her head back, taking it all in. Great. Now you can pour it out, calmly and with restraint. How? In whichever way you wish. Path of the Pearl Fox. She turned to face him, but instead she saw Mr. Sumiko. Be braver, May. You have already used magic. You can do it. It should be like second nature to you. May's voice was a whisper. Mr. Sumiko? Her eyes closed. May? His slender fingers touched her face. She was laying next to the stream, her clothes wet. Takao was leaning over her. Can you hear me? Yes. Trembling from the cold, she stood up. What happened? You called me Mr. Sumiko, then you lost consciousness and fell into the water. I thought that it really was her. So you managed to trick yourself with your own illusion. I told you to do it calmly and with restraint. His stern tone changed at once. Don't worry about it. You did well for your first time. We should begin back. If you got sick again, Chongan would never let me hear the end of it. Interesting. In the afternoon, they continued. Illusions again? Or will we try controlling fire? Should I be, like, balancing my magic out? I don't know. Should I only do one or not? I don't know if I should learn a little fire magic just for sometimes, or if I should focus hard on my illusions. I don't know how much points you're gonna need for per what's name. I don't want to not have enough points. Let's stay focused. I'm focused on illusions for now. May practice until the daylight faded. She created feathers of fog and shadowy masses in the shapes of objects. Once, she was even able to create a very colorful illusion of fireflies. Not bad. Thank you. You're exhausted. May didn't object, although the lesson was very exciting. She could barely stand on her own. We'll take tomorrow off. There will be no practice. The next day, you repeat everything we've learned today, as well as try some transformations. Are you going to scare me? You're a wonderful teacher. I think it's a wonderful teacher. She bowed deeply. Accept my gratitude and respect. Thank you for the lesson. Although a bit reserved, he also bowed. I'm glad that it was interesting to you. Most importantly, I finally understand how to use magic. You learned to walk, but there's a long way ahead before you can fight or even dance. Any more practice? He nodded. In the future, when you practice by yourself, be very careful. Getting soaked in the river isn't the worst thing that can happen. Sure. When she returned to Chang'un's house, she went to bed immediately. The next day, as planned, was devoted to cleaning. Kazu hadn't shown up by evening, so Mei asked Chang'un where she might find him. It turned out that she had to go to the opposite end of the village, away from the cliff, and it was quite far. Uh-oh, I could probably run into some magical beings. Along the way, she met two women who silently passed her by. Mei hesitated at the doorstep. I hope Kazu won't think I'm being insolent. I'm just returning his kindness. Finally, Mei knocked on the door. No response. Chang'un said he was here. Is he sleeping or busy in the yard? She rounded the corner and heard a brief but quiet ringing. Sounds like it's coming from over there. A few moments later, she heard the strange ringing again. Behind the house, Mei found a pond and a terrace. Kazu was seated there. He flicked his hand. A shining object shot through the air, lodging itself into a wooden target. Trying not to disrupt his concentration, Mike quietly stepped forward. Another flick of his hand. Hello. I knocked. Without looking away, he responded. I heard. If it was urgent, I thought you'd come to find me, and if not, I would have found you later myself. Sorry. She looked at the tweezers and long needles sticking out of the target. About the same number lay beneath it. Finally called a turn to look at her, then followed her gaze. I'm training. What are those for? Am I interrupting? That's a fair question. Yeah, I want to know if I'm interrupting or not. I don't know. Is that the wrong thing to say? I should probably leave. No, it's nothing like that. He raised the needle close to his eyes, inspecting its tip. Should I talk to Izumi? What do you mean? Everyone in the village has good hearing, not to mention sharp eyes. Everything is fine, you don't have to. He's acting as though nothing happened between us. How does he feel about it? May changed the subject by pointing at the target. You're doing great. He twisted the needle in his fingers before throwing it. It smacked flat against the target and fell on the ground. Not yet. How about you? Can you turn invisible yet? Not yet. She coughed. I wanted to ask you. Can I leave your clan? Of course. Have you grown tired of it? I'm not sure where my life will go from here, but I have to see my father. I need to learn more about my mother. Someone turned me into a human. I need to learn more about my mother. I have to ask about her. It seems that he was lying to me. Before I can decide what to do with my future, I need to make sense of my past. Kazu squinted at her. May? Sighing, she nodded. That isn't the only reason. Perhaps not even the main one. Sorry. I already told you that because of Mr. Sumiko's death, they are looking for me. But that's not all. Kazu looked uninterested. However, she was beginning to understand him. In truth, he was very attentive. I have to trust someone for once, and I've already trusted him with my life. After telling him about the strange guard, she continued. I don't believe it was mere coincidence. I don't know who he is, but I don't think the search for me will end there. I caught a glimpse of that man's reflection, though it wasn't really a man at all, in a puddle. I couldn't make out his features. Takao told me about their spirits around here. You know about them too. Which of them have horns? Half of them. That isn't much to go on. Kazu picked up the mat he was sitting on and rolled it up. Where does your father live, lucky one? In Okugami? The village in the southern province? Yes. He grunted as he stretched. Right, that's what you came for after all. I'll take you there. I mean, I don't mind. I'm happy that you're going with me. I didn't really want to leave. I thought she would stay and kind of do some more training first before she took off, but yeah, I don't know. I got way more points than I thought I did. I don't know. But I think we're doing pretty good. Yeah. Okay, it says May must say her goodbyes before she can welcome someone else. Interesting. We're talking about this guy? Why do we have to say goodbye to Kazu? I know we can take up all of his time, but still, I would like to continue to travel with him. Let's be honest. Maybe, I want to say Takao coming with us, but he probably has to protect the village. Chapter 7, Southbound. Issa, don't know about the people, but all the scarecrows here are crooked. I came to ask Kazu for another favor. Not at all, that would be arrogant of me. It's a pity he sees it that way. He started pulling the needles from the wooden target and collecting the ones laying on the cloth. Although, maybe not. This is not an offer one simply refuses. If I say that this isn't why I'm here, then I'll have to come up with a plausible alternative. I can't do that right now. I'll let it play out. Maybe this is divine intervention. May wasn't so certain of that last thought. Regardless, she decided not to oppose her circumstances and remained quiet. And it seemed that Kazu wasn't expecting an answer. He was calmly watching her. We'll have to tell Takao. He told me to practice some more and try transforming into a fox. Then we'll depart after that? Thank you. Okay, good. That's cool. She at least learned to handle her abilities a little bit better before we take off. He nodded. So I don't want him to be the one that always has to protect me. I want to be able to help him too. You know, I think we did a little bit in the forest, but you know, I wanted to be more consistent. Kazu went to talk to the Jonin without delay, while Mei had no choice but to return to Chang'an's house. She paused outside, admiring the lanterns. The old man appeared in the doorway. Aren't they beautiful? Yes, very. I've seen this look many times. The one you have now, I see you're saying goodbye to this place. Yes, you're right, Grandpa Junkan. Don't you like it here? May began waving her hands. Of course I liked it here. It's very interesting and picturesque, magically so, but I don't want to wait until I'm asked to leave. The old man raised his eyebrows, however May stopped him. No, Grandpa Chumgun. I've made up my mind. She rubbed the invisible mark on her left palm. I can't stay here forever, and out there, May motioned in the general direction of the nearby mountains. It's my past, and if I don't deal with it as soon as possible, it will come back to haunt me. The old ninja looked at her. You are afraid, but you are moving toward your fear. This means you are already defeating it. May smiled in response. Say, Chang'an? He immediately became serious. Ask away. Why does Takao trust me? Are there any other guests visiting here? How many shinobi clans are there in Noiryo? Why do you trust me? I heard his conversation with Kazu. He wasn't happy that I stopped by, and now he's helping me? It's rare that someone intends to save the likes of us. The ninja? Yes, and you helped Kazu escape his pursuers. Not only that, but you were also a kitsune. No friends, no patrons, completely alone. Not at all foolish, and you won't betray the clan. The last thing you would want is to start an open conflict with the shinobi. Beyond that, only he himself can say. Can I access one? Who would count them all? There are a few, some very small, others bigger. The city guard would probably like to know. I bet they would. Mediocrity drives the lazy. It isn't so easy to interrogate us. Thank you. For what? Your hospitality, the treatment, and wise words. The next day, Takao tried to push Mei into transforming. He began by making sure that mice didn't scare her. Then he brought a snake. However, the sight of the languid reptile elicited pity instead of fear. As Mei stroked its scaly, smooth body, she wondered what she could feed the poor thing. Next in line was a centipede the size of her palm. She grimaced, but the insect didn't evoke anything beyond disgust. The shinobi then created an illusion of an eerie fanged creature. It reached toward her. Although it looked convincing, it still was only an illusion, and Mei knew that she was not in no real danger. She was unable to take on her true form, an outcome that Takao found somewhat upsetting. However, he confidently told me that her inability to transform on demand wasn't an issue, and that she would learn how to over time. It was important that she learn how to handle spontaneous transformations that could reveal her true nature, and to do that, she would need to focus on learning to control magic. After May successfully conjured yet another bird's shadow, the sorcerer spoke. You've learned the foundations, but your magic is still weak. You must remember that it will inspire envy and fear, and those, in turn, lead to aggression. Hide who you are. Be careful in deed and word. You are stronger and smarter than many, but inexperienced in life. You may come across many different kinds of people on the road. When you travel alone, pretend to be uneducated and poor. Those who don't stand out tend to avoid most trouble. I understand. Is he concerned about me? When was the last time you were in the southern province? Ever since they took me away from my home to live with the Okia. Never. Seeing as Kazu decided to accompany you, you should make the most of this opportunity. Observe how those you meet along the way behave. It will be useful when you need to pretend to be one of them. He looked at her as he considered. His gaze made May a bit uneasy. Takao smiled kindly. Yes, perhaps. Come to my house in the evening. I'll show you where it is on our way back to the village. Wait, what? May followed him, trying not to give away how anxious his statement made her. Oh, why did I say that? Okay. May paced around the room and eventually sat on the bed, her eyes never leaving the window. The more the sky darkened, the more difficult she found to think about anything besides Takao's words. Great, why don't I start thanking every man for help or shelter like this? Unless he didn't mean it like that. She began to argue with herself. You cannot be this naive. He's a ninja, this is his village, and I'm indebted to him. Takao would not take advantage of the situation to do that. It would be unlike him. And what do I truly know of him? How do I know that would stop him? Maybe I should tell Kazu, and he'll find a way to settle the matter? Nonsense. I would never dare look him in the eyes after a request like that. May took a deep breath and attempt to calm herself. It was time to make a decision. Go to his house or stay in Chonko's. It's only 20 gems. I'm curious. I gotta know. I was the one who brought it up. Now it would be insulting to not go. If he asks me to proceed to his chambers, I'll make something up. Besides, he knows about my first transformation. She straightened her clothes and went outside. Takao opened the door almost as soon as May knocked. Thank you. For coming. Of course. Are you hungry? No, thank you. He invited her to sit down with a gesture, then sat across from her. Okay. On the table between them stood a few simple but appetizing dishes. Fine incense slowly burned in the corner. I hope that you won't find my request tiring. May, I rarely go to cities, and as such I have little opportunities to enjoy the company of women. Oh, Lord! May's pulse quickened at his words. In particular, the company of geisha. Oh, Lord. Oh my god! I would be grateful if you would dance for me, then entertain me with conversation. Surprised, May uttered only a brief, "That's all?" Yes. It will be a wonderful gift. What was I thinking? Still sorting her thought, it took her a few moments before she nodded in agreement. With pleasure. It's a pity that there is no music. The sorcerer moved his fingers, drawing an intricate sign in the air. The distinctive strumming of a shamisen filled the room. The melody flowed from every direction. The walls themselves seemed to make the sound. Not knowing how long the enchanting melody would last, May rose. She raised her arms to the ceiling and, seeming to glide across the floor, slipped to the side and spun. Her movements were the motions of a wave, soft, smooth, then sharp and bold. Takao watched with obvious interest. As in her debut, May danced flawlessly. Her dance was sensual, emotional. Takao noticed, his enjoyment apparent. When she finished, he spoke in a quiet voice. That was excellent. Huh, that's an interesting face. least I could do for you. Then she engaged him in light conversation that touched on a variety of topics. Takao asked her what tea houses she had been to and about the different establishments in the capital. Knowing that it was best to end the conversation before it died off on its own, May wished him a good evening. Takao didn't stop her. I have a strange feeling that he's been studying me all this time. Why? Okay, that was nice. Kazu should tell me when we'll be leaving the village. It was probably too late for that yesterday, and he knew I was practicing during the day, so he'll probably stop by today. If he hasn't already. Well, Changa would say something. May waited outside, watching the dark outlines of the mountains. A figure emerged from the shadows. Oh. Hello. Good evening, Azumi. Were you waiting for me here? It doesn't matter. Kazu decided to accompany you. Oh wait, is she asking me? Is something wrong? That's right. You saved him, and now you're making sure that no one forgets it. You helped, so what? Have some dignity. Or have you decided to bleed his gratitude dry? She stepped closer. I don't think she cares about the truth, she just needs to assert herself. Kazu was injured, but instead of recovering, he's going to drag himself to some village no one cares about. Oh, sorry, you care about it. Does a fox not have legs? Can't get there on her own? May wasn't about to explain herself or tell her that it was Kazu's decision, and she couldn't respond to Azumi in kind, seeing as she was still a guest. She remained silent, indifferently looking off to the side. Kazu appeared on the road, approaching them. Azumi noticed and went toward him. And Kinoyu thought I was impulsive? He's just the person who should learn some restraint. They were a dozen steps away, but May could make out their words. Get rid of her. Assuming it's none of your business. She knows full well that I can hear them. I can't imagine why the Jonin allowed this. What about my words was difficult to understand? Pfft, even the children know. Once you accept help from a kitsune, you'll never repay them. Your wound. It's fine. You regret the way you behaved. Now go. Azumi did not argue. She went deeper into the village and finally disappeared around the corner of the next house. Kazu approached May. Okay. That completely ruined the mood. We'll leave in the morning. Listen, forget about it. If you don't want to make life difficult for yourself, sleep well. We have a long day tomorrow. You need to be fresh and well rested. Okay. Freaking Azumi. It's fine. It's fine. Once we're traveling alone together, hopefully things will be a little bit happier. That girl is ridiculous. May prepared her things rather quickly. Changan gave her 2 bundles in parting, a larger one containing some food and a smaller one with a bar of soap. Everything else they might need, according to the old man, could be bought along the way. Kazu brought some warm clothes. It's still fall and there will be snow on the passes. I'll be right back. I'll wait outside. She got dressed. Ooh. Warm clothes. I like this one. And she followed him out. Approaching the forest, May looked back at the village a few times. Eventually, the roofs of the clan's houses vanished behind the trees. I felt awkward. I didn't say goodbye to Takao. He wasn't gonna see me off? No. He spent a lot of his time teaching me to control magic. I still don't understand how he felt about me. Kazu didn't respond immediately. He liked you. But that doesn't change anything. She looked at his back. Do you like me? Kazu spoke without turning around. Are you not gonna ask me? What? The question in your mind. May couldn't decide what she resented more, that Kazu dared to suggest he knew what she was thinking, or the fact that he was absolutely right. Masking her embarrassment with surprise, May let out a short laugh. What are you talking about? He only grunted in response. She stepped over the trunk of a fallen tree. For some time they walked along the stream that May had fallen into during her training. Eventually they turned to the mountains. Oh, it's still there. Is your father a peasant? What's his name? He's a blacksmith. Ichido Nakamura. Do you have any brothers or sisters? None. Good. The fewer people know about you, the better. How did the transformation go? I couldn't do it. How did it happen the first time? What scared you? A small sigh escaped May's lips. I told Takao because it was necessary, but Kazu? What if he thinks I don't trust him? That isn't good. You know, sometimes it feels like this happened months ago, or that it wasn't me at all. Back then, everything seemed to happen at once. One thing after another, and then a man in the Okia's chambers. You know how it works. I was indebted for my education. And then I turned into a fox. Upset with herself for being so outspoken, May prepared for many reactions. A delicate silence, a grin, pathetic words. Kazu surprised her. Hold on. He lifted his sleeve, revealing a small scabbard fastened to his forearm with straps. Give me your left hand. The ninja affixed the weapon in his scabbard to May's thin arm, so that no one touches you if you don't want them to. Oh my god! That's so cute! Aim for the throat. Alright, if you don't want to kill them, stick it in their foot. Just don't forget to twist it afterwards. She drew the blade. The rough handle rested comfortably in the palm of her hand. I don't know how to use it. You'll manage. But only take it out when you're ready to attack. Otherwise, it isn't your friend but an enemy, only giving the illusion of advantage. I understand. After hiding the wet boots, she looked at Kazu. How many have you killed? I don't count. Kazu led her to a rock that contained the entrance to a cave. We're going in. Follow me. Oh, sweet. Didn't make her feel uncomfortable with the situation and just like, you know, next time, just make sure that doesn't happen again. A dim magical light dispelled the darkness just enough to make it clear where she was stepping. Is this Takao's? No, some of the neighbors. Oh, whoop. My phone's going off. The yokai? He nodded. Hearing footsteps behind her, May sharply turned around. There was no one there. Don't mind that. He's always stomping around here. If you're with someone from the clan, he won't bother you. Did Takao not mention it? Alarmed, May shook her head. The shinobi calmly continued on his way as May followed his example. For a while they were followed. Finally the steps subsided. May spoke in a whisper. Who was that? I don't know. Chungun calls him Beta. Beta. Have you seen him before? No. What does he want? I don't know. You're amazingly different. You aren't curious? You're curious? A yokai lives next to you, and you don't care what he wants? Kazu turned around, explaining with a hint of annoyance. He's a ghost. He doesn't give himself away through any other means. You can't see or talk to him. You won't understand him. Creepy. Harmless. Are you satisfied? Thank you. Nevertheless, she turned around several times, peering into the twilight of the cave. She didn't see or hear anything strange. Oh, what's that? A lifting mechanism. The ninja stopped at the wooden wheel near the gaping entrance to a mine shaft. The basket is down there. Is that normal? Yes. Satoshi also goes hunting. Stop that. Being nervous. When you're twitchy, you ask way too many questions. Sorry. Stay here, I'll check the levers. The ninja disappeared behind the corner. There was a quiet creak and the wheel started spinning. May caught a movement in the ceiling in her peripheral vision. I see it! He's there! A shadow shifted to the wall. It's down here! Okay. Remember what we learned. Don't be hostile unless they're specifically going after my life. Right? And don't react in disgust because some of them are sensitive. Okay. Let's try to remember my training. Without a sound, the creature jumped to the floor of the cave. A pair of opalescent eyes stared at May. Scared away with magic, do nothing. May waited. Takao said that no harm would come to me. The important thing is to not be hostile. The creature approached her, although May was still unable to make out what it was. May glanced to where Kazu had gone. no reason to call him. Wow, Takao has such company. A Pearl Kitsune. Oh, she knows that I'm Pearl! Or he. Possibly the last one around. Whoa, what happened to the rest of them? What? May? The shadow startled and darted away, and May turned to Kazu. Let's go. Someone was here. Not Beto. It moved very quietly, and I could see it. Is everything alright? It seems so. Are you going to transform? No, it or she didn't mean any harm. Yokai, shall we? Can you only reach your village through this cave? Shinobi grinned at yet another one of her questions. No, it's quicker this way. It saves us a couple of days. May and Kazu climbed into the basket. There was a strip of dark cloth in his hands. Okay, so we didn't attack. Remembered our training. We didn't get hostile. I'm very proud of us. I don't think attacking would have been the right thing, because right there we actually learned some info that we might not have learned had we not. Like, they were just kind of sending some, like, they didn't really say anything menacing. They were just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. That's who you are. Like, I'm like, curious? I just seemed kind of really curious. But that was creepy. It was like ceiling, floor, right in your face. Oh my god. I'm surprised she didn't turn him into a fox. I would have. I'd have been scared out of my mind. May and Kazu climbed to the basket. There was a strip of dark cloth in his hands. A blindfold you. That's right. So if I'm ever caught or tortured, I won't be tempted to talk about this place to make it stop. You have to go blindly. It's a long way, but I'll lead you. Alright. Accepting the need for such precautions, she closed her eyes. Oh, this is cool. When she could no longer see, the basket shook and started moving down with a rustling sound. After a long descent, they moved through the caves. May could feel the stone beneath her feet and hear the echoes from the walls. Kazu firmly held her elbow. Sometimes he even picked her up and carried her in his arms. She didn't object. It must be difficult to walk here, and this is faster. During a particularly long stretch, he made a suggestion as though it were nothing. This will be easier if you hug my neck. Her arms timidly and carefully wrapped around Kazu. Undoubtedly, it made it easier not only for him, but for her as well. May hope that in the darkness, he wouldn't notice the blush spreading across her face. Something tells me he does notice. They continued on until they were under the open sky. Small snowflakes fell on her face. The forest rustled. Bear with us a little longer. Finally, Kazu removed the blindfold. Some sort of plane or something. May squinted her eyes. They adjusted to the light. Woo! Sorry, clan rules. I understand, of course. She was unaccustomed to long walks, and soon her feet began to hurt. She gritted her teeth, trying to keep up the pace. In the evening, the snowfall intensified, and when Kazu decided to stop for the night, they spent a while looking for a place that hadn't been covered with snow. The forest is safe. You can rest. After the day of endless walking, May was tired and fell asleep immediately after eating, but in the middle of the night, something woke her up. Kazu was sleeping soundly. May looked around. Everything is quiet. There's nobody around apart from us, although she could feel something watching her. A few steps away from them, a short shadow moved and familiar eyes lit up. Before she could wake her companion, the yokai from the cave beckoned her. Should I walk away from the campfire? Takao said the spirits know the ninja from the clan. Is she going to attack me more far enough away from the Kazu? On the other hand, she showed interest in me in the cave and said something about Kitsune. The creature was waiting for her. That's risky, yo! That's risky! Oh man, you know I'm gonna do it though. Okay, here we go. And yes, I bought the expensive package, okay? May quietly stood up. Kazu spoke, his eyes still closed. Where are you headed off to? I need to... As she expected, he interpreted her ambiguous answer in his own way. Don't go too far. She moved toward the spirit. Once near, she was finally able to take a good look at it. Whoa. Dude. Oh. His voice had an unnatural quality. Foxy. My name is May. The spirit made a semblance of a smile, showing its fangs. My name is Shino Odiri. Odori. Shino. Huh. It's been a long time since I've seen a kitsune. How do you know who I am? Your inhuman nature is as very clearly visible in you as it is in me. Of course. How many tails do you have? Just one. Shino Odori was noticeably upset. That means your magic isn't too strong. A shame. You won't be able to aid me. Apologies for bothering you, Mei Kitsune. May your path and intentions be hidden from all. Having said that, the yokai stirred and about to leave. Wait. Yes? In the cave, you called me Pearl Kitsune. What does that mean? Oh, so you are an orphan. Poor thing. That explains a lot. You can stay with us in the forest. I will find you a nice dry den. May respectfully refused. Thank you, but that isn't for me. I see. It started in ancient times. The special stones, amber, created by trees, and pearls, born in the depths by oysters. Living stones, the magic of nature, a miracle. Kitsune love the living. They also work wonders. You've associated with the amber fire, crimson, warmth, a frozen flash of flame. White pearl, the curl of air, intangible like an illusion, fragile, creating mirages. Symbols which have become your name, your magics. Why am I the last one around? You said that I'm an orphan. That explains something. What exactly? If you had a mother, she would tell you about the stones. Why would you be the last one? Your kind has been getting killed off for years now. Who? Why? That is none of my business. I don't know, and I don't want to. Who would be capable of this? I bothered you, and I answered. That's enough. You have nothing to pay for more answers with, Kitsune. Shino Odori disappeared into the thicket of a bamboo without saying goodbye. Huh. Well, I hope we see her again. Since Shino Odori didn't want to appear before Kazu, May decided to respect the creature's secret and remain silent about her conversation with it. It's not a good idea to go around revealing other secrets. This is true. Huh. Okay. So we had an interesting little conversation there. About stones. Okay. But see, not an overtly evil creature. I'm glad we did that. Soon they emerged from the forest, fields stretched out, surrounding small, dull villages. Snow fell at times, and the roads were deserted. The dreary landscape saddened May. They moved mostly in silence, the cold wind robbing them of any desire to speak. The one blessing to come from it all was that they now stayed in inns instead of sleeping outside. And even then, the inns needed serious repairs, much like the surrounding peasant homes, but at least it was warmer. Kazu, I get the feeling that the people here are poorer than those in the north. It's not just a feeling. Strange. Seeing as this province holds the capital, I thought it should be the other way around. Apparently you haven't been here for a long time. It's been like this for a few years already. A few times they encountered sullen, rough-looking people that resembled bandits. When they looked at May with their sinister glints in their eyes, she felt uneasy, but Kazu's presence prevented them from acting on whatever thoughts they might have. None of the rabble dared to approach May, and then in the distance, May recognized it. We've made it. She peered at the distant homes. So many years have passed. Will you be able to recognize him? I wasn't particularly close to my father. He's a rather strained man, not generous with affection, but yes, I will. I hope he's still alive. Let's go check. No. I need to let him go. He has done too much for me already. What if something is wrong at home? Kazu wouldn't leave me feeling responsible. It would be selfish of me to take advantage of this. He doesn't deserve that sort of treatment. She readied herself to speak steadily without hesitation. I'll go on by myself until it's time for us to say goodbye. I'm so grateful to you. You helped me get here, didn't let me die. You did everything for me and even more. She bowed. I still have to deal with this myself. This is a perfect and opportune time to part ways. As you wish. He considered for a few moments, then pulled out a tiny sparkling stone from the bag on his belt. Here, hold on to this. Hide it somewhere on you. This should be enough for you to get into any city in the Empire and to last you a while there. I have money. His voice took on a prickly, strained quality as he spoke slowly. Too smart, are you? Go on then. Remembering the rabble they had met along the way, May hesitated, lowering her eyes. Listen, it's no joke. If it comes to it, put it in your mouth. If you get robbed, they'll find the money. Just try not to swallow it. It won't be a big deal, but it's still a bit upsetting. If a group of them bothers you, pretend to be a wretch. Drool. Blow your nose. Roll your eyes. Believe it or not, it might save your life. She nodded resolutely. There are places in the capital in the north where you'll be able to contact me by leaving a letter. There aren't clan contacts, they're mine. In the letter, you should mention only the place where I can find you, nothing more. If you need me, write, hide the message, and wait. Alright. Remember. As soon as he was sure that she had memorized where these places were, he nodded in satisfaction and smiled. That's that. Beautiful. Good luck. Oh no! I don't want him to go! Her fingers brushed over Kazu's face. She reached for him, and they boldly kissed. Her lips did not want to let him go, wanting to remember as much of his tenderness as possible. Then May turned around sharply, and forbidding herself from looking back, she quickly headed toward the village. She did not want him to notice her sadness. Oh man! Gotta say goodbye to Kazu. Hopefully we run into the Ronin guy then, because we still need companions, okay? We can't do this on our own. But I understand her not wanting to make him feel like, you know, he's indebted and that's the only reason she's keeping him around. Or that any of those Kitsune legends are true. Because that's weird. The houses were in a sad state. May took note of the locals. The peasants were poor before, but not this poor. The forage had also changed. This village has fallen on difficult times. She remembered her childhood, far less interesting than her years spent in the city. Or was it only better in my memories? She stopped at the gate. Not daring to enter the courtyard, she looked around. Over the thatched roofs there was a gray smoke, and at the end of the only street, children were playing a game. Only one thought came to mind. Desolation. So many times I considered how I should feel about my father. It looks like I should be grateful. The forge door opened and a man appeared on the doorstep. Greetings, madam. Oh god, he doesn't even recognize me. She realized that she would have recognized him even having met him by chance at the city market, while he looked at her as though she was a stranger. Would you like something fixed, or are you looking to buy? The aged blacksmith bowed low, showing deep reverence, clearly afraid of losing a potential client. I have the finest hardware in the entire county. I remember. Hello, father. May? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so there's gonna be one more episode. I think I'm gonna do that one on its own. It says May receives 2 offers of accompaniment, but refuses. Interesting. 2 offers from who? Surely my dad's not gonna agree to pack up and go with me. And go where? Where do I go from here after this? Like, I don't know. I don't know what her plan is or anything like that. But yeah, okay. It was interesting. So we learned a lot about magic and about the spirits and stuff like that. We even met one, had a conversation with one. That was really interesting. We finally had some kissing scenes with Kazu, which is very, very nice, even though we had to say goodbye, which is that is nice. But, you know, I guess we're on a journey. And we don't want to keep him from his journey, I suppose. But I hope that our paths converge again pretty soon. Probably next season, though. It would have to be. And maybe we'll spend the back half of the season hanging out with the Ronin guy. I don't know. I don't know if I want to romance him. We'll have to see how his personality is like. Yeah, we also got pretty close to Takao as well, which is very nice. I didn't know what to expect when he invited us to his house. Especially when he said he wanted to accompany a vacation. So I was like, whoa, okay. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this part right here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, go ahead and show that like button some love. Subscribe to see more content like this. And I will see you next time. Bye.